Hey guys, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, theclinicaltrials.guru. That will also work just as well. Send your questions to me, Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com, or Cyberdust, or any social network. Today I'm answering a question that I got from someone from Cyberdust, and I'm going to read it for you guys, and then I'm going to give my 2 cents about the topic. So it's, hey Dan, I need some advice. We have a study going on right now and enrollment is very slow. The sponsor has been placed on a clinical hold because a patient at another site got a really serious adverse event. The sponsor wants to visit each site to review things prior to the hold being lifted. Here's the problem. Our PI hates the study and does not have the time. They are demanding an hour of his time and said if they don't get an hour, they will not allow us to screen once hold is lifted. Can we voluntarily withdraw ourselves from the study? So let me answer that question first. It's yes. This happens a lot. Believe it or not, this happens often. And I think you're at the perfect opportunity where you've already figured out that, or at least your PI has figured out that this is not a study that he or she would like to do. I think it's a he. Yeah, so he's found out it's a study he doesn't want to do, doesn't have the time for it, doesn't like it, as you said, hates it. So when the sponsor comes out to see you next time, what I would do now is use this as an opportunity, send the sponsor an email saying, hey, we understand there's a hold right now in the study. However, after assessing our capabilities, our patient population, our PI's availability, whatever the reason is for your PI not liking it, tell them that and explain that you would like to be discontinued from the study. And they may or may not do a closeout visit right away. I know from my experiences, because I've actually done this before, where the PI just didn't like the study and I've basically done what I just told you to do. The sponsor said, that's fine, you don't have to screen anymore. We're going to put your site on hold, but we cannot have a closeout visit until all the databases have been locked and we've started the closeout process for all the other sites. So you're just going to have to wait. Sometimes that's the unfortunate thing about it, is you'll be grouped into that category. Now, if you keep pushing for it, you might be able to get an early closeout visit, but typically they'll only do that if your site is closing or your PI is retiring. Other than that, if that's not the situation, they may or may not do the closeout visit immediately for you. They may have you wait until their database has been locked. And guess what? The worst part about all this is you still might have queries from your 2 subjects that you already have put in the study. You still may have queries a year from now when they're locking the database and they have some kind of discrepancy in the EDC system. So that's the unfortunate thing. I've dealt with this before myself. I feel your pain. Your follow-up question: we only have 2 patients that are almost complete, and we're successfully enrolled with no problems. If there are no safety issues at a site, can a sponsor get mad and call an FDA audit on us? The answer is no. At the end of the day, the sponsor, no matter how combative they are, I'm dealing with some pretty combative and aggressive sponsors right now who, for obvious reasons, I will not name. But even in those cases, even the most combative and aggressive sponsors will never call the FDA on one of their sites unless they have good reason to do so. For the most part, the sponsors don't want you to have an FDA audit, because if you have an FDA audit, guess what? The FDA is going to start looking at them and go to their place and start looking at their trial master file, and that's the last thing they want. Sponsors will go to the FDA if they suspect some fraud or anything like that, like if the PI is not following GCP or the study coordinator is not following GCP. Those are cases where the sponsor may go to the FDA, but that's a last resort. Even in that situation, they will usually try to work it out with the site first, so they'll usually have a sponsor audit if that's the case. So don't worry about them going to the FDA unless you're committing fraud, which you probably wouldn't be sending me questions if that was the case. So we don't want to make the sponsor upset, but we also think they require too much from us. I know I'm dealing with that every day I'm dealing with that. With all the clinics I have and all the studies we have going on, there's always at least one sponsor or one study where we're in this very same situation that you're in right now. Basically, I would like to know what a sponsor can do to a site if they want to terminate agreement or withdraw from the study. So like I just said, send them an email, begin the conversation now, say we would like our site to be terminated, we'd like to have a closeout visit immediately. They usually will not have any problems with keeping a screening hold on your site or terminating you, but they may not do that closeout visit. Like I said, I don't want to get redundant. They may not do that closeout visit right away. As a matter of fact, worst case scenario, you may have to wait until they do closeout visits for other sites, which may be years from today, depending on your study. What is the process of withdrawal, termination of contract? An email or a letter? An email is fine. Print that. That's your record. You're telling the sponsor you don't want to enroll anymore. You can even send a site's continuing review form to the IRB and tell them that you're on a screening hold and that you're not going to be enrolling anymore. There is an option for that so that the IRB knows what's going on. Is there anything legal that must happen, or just the notification and closeout visit? Typically just the notification. Now, this is why I like email, because if you email the sponsor what I just told you and they reply back, that is a response from them. And should this ever get to court, which it's unlikely. I mean, there's no real legal issues here, but should it go to court, you at least have some kind of documentation and a paper trail of a conversation you've had with the sponsor. So that's what I would do. I would prefer email over phone. I can imagine you'll probably have some teleconferences during this whole process, unless your PI just absolutely is livid with the sponsor and will refuse to talk to them, which is, believe it or not, happens a lot in this industry. It's going on right now at one of my clients. So that's my answer. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I'm really hoping that I can help you out a little bit. Yeah, try to push for that closeout visit. My motto, you already know by now, but follow up, follow up, follow up. Don't accept the first no. Don't accept the second no. Don't accept the third no. Keep pushing. After a while, you're going to get a good idea of whether it's going to be what you're requesting is possible or not. But sponsor can never force you to continue to screen. So that's completely up to your choice. That's up to your judgment and discretion. But you can't force them to do a closeout visit either, unless your site's going out of business or the PI is retiring. Hope that helps. Let me know. Send your questions my way. Keep them coming. These are good. Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.